Alright, so I got this Blueridge BR73. It's a concert series, triple O. Gorgeous guitar. It's got a lot of problems. The bridge is coming up. I don't know if you can see that. It was a lot worse with the string. Yeah, you can see it there pretty bad. It was a lot worse with the strings. All the frets need to be filed and recrowned. Some of them are coming up here. Someone put a shim on the nut here for some reason, probably to compensate for the fact that the saddle was coming up before they even noticed it. It's also got some belly bulge, so I'm going to show that in a second. But this is going to be, I'm going to document my journey on repairing some of this stuff that I've never done before. Right now I've got it, a damp cloth in there. I'm just super humidifying it. I got a really damp cloth sitting on a coaster down here so it doesn't get any wetness on the wood. This is a solid spruce top and a mahogany sides and back, so it's definitely in a, you know, upper to medium crafted guitar. It's made in China, but all the components are nice, and the abalone inlays are beautiful. So I got some tape over all the holes. I'm going to super humidify it overnight because we've got some belly bulge to the point where if I take my straight edge, you can see that. So over here, there's nothing. It's flat. And then right here where the bridge started pulling up, I got some bulge. It's okay to have a little bit, but this is quite a bit. This is 2 dimes. If I take 2 dimes on both sides, that's pretty much where I got it. So you can see it lays flat on 2 dimes right there. So, and then that's flat in the middle, and then it starts to come out. So that's a pretty good amount. I mean, it's not a carved top, it's a flat top guitar. So we don't want any of that. I'm hoping that some super humidity will push that down. If it doesn't, I'm gonna get some heat and some clamps and try to draw it back in as much as I can before I take off the bridge and repair the bridge. So we'll see you at that junction. So after a few days of super humidifying it, which it needed, it had been sitting in a dry basement for a few Chicago winters. You can see because the bindings have cracked where the frets have pulled out, and there's a whole bunch of other, I mean, you can just the interior stuff is dry. There are no bracing issues, everything's solid, so all back in. But in the meantime, I'm going to address the frets, recrown them, clean them up, clean up this fretboard, and just adjust the neck because right now it is, you should be able to see that, but it is bowed. And then it looks like they compensated over here with another shim on the saddle. So there's shims all over these places. Instead of actually correcting the guitar's defects or faults, they've just covered them up, and they put a shim here up here, which you shouldn't need. Once this bridge gets pulled down and this belly gets pulled in, we can get rid of the shim on this and get rid of the shim on this, and we should get everything all trued up to the way it goes. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pull back the neck a little bit, and there we go. And this should get us to where we want it to be. It's quite a bit. Alrighty, that's better. Just like that. While I'm waiting for my bridge part, I'm going to tape off the frets that I'm going to file, and I'm going to start filing and recrowning those. They make these little fretboard guards. Some people have. You can use them for, you know, they come with fret polishers and things like that. I don't like using them too much. It's just one extra thing to hold on to while you're trying to get precise when you're filing these down. I just like taping off the neck. I'm only going to do the first 5, maybe 6. Let's do 6, 7. Sorry, I lied. 7. The rest of these don't need them. They just need to be cleaned heavily. So just taping this off. Fret file. It's got 3 different sizes. It's a diamond coated fret file. It works perfectly. You just figure out the size of your fret. This got a small, medium, and large. This fits on the medium. Small would be more like for ukuleles, mandolins, things like that probably. And you just get it in there. You don't want to be straight on it because the fret has a curve, right? So it has a radius on it. So you just want to get on it and kind of come at the angle this way and go for it. And then you want to go back and don't be afraid, you know. I'm going to show you how else I do it here. So in order to know that you're crowning it and not just filing it flat, I'm going to mark these off with a Sharpie. You see there's big divots in these. So, and that way, when I get to filing, you'll see what I'm taking. I can see what I'm taking off. Sorry, spacing. I can see what I'm taking off. And when you get to a thin little line in the middle, so here we go. We're just going to come at it this way. I'm going to start slowly. I don't want to be too afraid. And then you come back on an angle that way, towards the top of the fretboard. So an angle from the bottom of the fretboard towards the top of the fretboard. And you can see right here, that black line is almost gone except for the top, because I don't want to flatten the top out. I wanted to round it out. And that's what these will do. It's going to round it out. And already that looks incredible compared to what it was. Try this. Coming down at an angle, and then coming up at an angle. Just keep that radius. You want to just do light passes, check it out. You're going to see a lot of scratching. That'll polish off when I'm done. But you want to let the file do the work, the weight of the file. It's really heavy, so you want to let the weight of the file do the work. And you just want to take some nice light passes. I mean, that looks incredible already. Super happy with the way this is turned out. Again, these frets were so bad. I mean, just huge divots in them from the weight of the strings. And now that I'm thinking about it, you know, I just wonder if maybe some mediums were put on this, and it was just too much for this little triple O series, the body and stuff. Because even looking at the nut, looks like some pretty deep grooves there as well. So might have been set up with, and you don't want to be on an angle. You want to be straight, like just like that. I mean, an angle sideways. You just want to come across. You can do a full pass if you want like that. After filing those down, they're all scratchy and rough here. So I'm going to get some fine sandpaper and go through the grits. I'm starting at 600 and I'll probably go to about 1500, maybe all the way up to 22, depending on how it comes out. It's really the ones that I filed down need the 600. The rest of these could probably start somewhere around 1000 grit, just to polish them, really, because they're fine. It's just to get all that oxidation off. So I just cut little pieces, and you can kind of go through this way, so that your fret levels stay the same. But since these are so bad, at first I want to get in on the sides and really give it some elbow grease on each of these. And even on the fret ends, I have taped off the binding, so I don't have to really worry about scratching up the binding. And then I'm just gonna kind of let the fret curve around my finger. That's what I like to do with my finger instead of a sanding block. I like to feel the fret. I mean, you can see the dust now really coming off. It takes some time. It's time consuming to go through each of the frets like this with 5, 6 different grits, but it's worth it. The way that they come out at the end is pretty amazing. I mean, you can already see how shiny these are, and smooth already. I mean, it's pretty brilliant. Just on a 600. Want to make sure, I mean, it's a 600 grit, you're not really going to do anything to take off, I mean, all these frets are completely level with each other, so you're not really taking anything enough off to substantially change the height of your frets, just to smooth them out. And you want the wet dry sandpaper, just so you know. You can get it at like any luthier shop or hobbyist shop. You're not gonna get it, at your Home Depot or anything like that. So you want to go directly to a hobby shop or any guitar luthier should have the grits you need. They make tons of different kinds, some with pads attached. I have for buffing and polishing a whole bunch of padded higher grades, 2200 all the way up to 4,000 or 5,000, I think, to 1200. And I mean, you can see a reflection in these babies. They look so good. So obviously, the higher up you go, the less time you need to take on each of these frets. So at this point, I'm just kind of once overing on each of the frets, and I'm probably only gonna need to go up to 1500. Because even as it is, they're just smooth, playable. The smoother they are, the better that's all going to be for you as a player. This is all. I'm just straight. At this point, I don't really have to address the frets individually. Just kind of run through the super fine grits. It does get dusty, like any sanding project, so I'll take a cloth to it afterwards. But here's the final 1500, and then I'm stoked with the way this is coming out. It's gonna get done after this. the results here. But we're gonna clean up the dust and take the tape off. Oil up the fretboard is what's next. So, see you in a bit. So before I go any further, I'm just gonna give the guitar a real quick once over. I gotta move this out of the way. It's always in my way. I don't have a workshop, obviously. I'm working in my kitchen. My tools are in my closet. So, the life of a DIYer. I'm gonna give it a once over just because there's dust. Obviously, it's just not easier to kind of polish as you go instead of having to do it all at once and letting it all sink in over a long project. Like this, you know, this guitar is gonna be sitting on this table for a couple weeks dealing with all this. So I just wanna make sure I kind of get everything out. I'm just using your standard guitar polish. Anything will do on this lacquer finish. It works on the wood. You can use it on the fretboard too, but we're gonna oil up the fretboard, so I don't want to get too much on there. I don't want any kind of coating on there. So, but I'm mostly doing it just to make sure there's no residual stickiness from the tape, even though to my touch there seemed not to be. See, it's a pretty guitar. They did a great job for the money. Now that all that gunk, I still see like, I don't know what that is. Might just be a finishing thing I need to buff out. You can drive yourself crazy figuring out what oils to use on your fretboard. I have talked to so many people, read so many articles. They all say different things. Everybody's got their own technique. Same thing with like the steel wool stuff. People are for it, people are against it. I'm for whatever works and is the cheapest. This thing is just dried up. There's gunk laying in the frets. These frets look beautiful though. So I decided to give this a shot. It was like $6. You can't go wrong. If I don't like it this time, in 6 months or a year, I'll try something else. So that's the thing about guitars, is you're always gonna keep working on it. So we'll see. It looked like it did the job pretty darn well. I guess we're finding out that lemon oil isn't the best thing for your guitar. So it just says put a few dabs. I'm gonna do a couple at a time, and then just take a microfiber cloth. I've got this one I'm gonna try, but if I can't get into the edges with it. And then I had also, for really dry fretboard, it recommends leaving it on for a few minutes before wiping it off. So I guess I'm gonna apply with this thing and I'll wipe it off with the heavier microfiber cloth, because this helps me use my nail to get in underneath those frets. Get all that gook out of there. Seems to be applying pretty good. Doesn't smell weird or funky or anything, so that's always a plus. I mean, already it looks great. I mean, it's wet obviously, but I'm gonna let it sit for, I don't know, 3 or 4 minutes before I completely pull it off. These are looking like they need a little more. Actually, it smells good. So yeah, it's the F1 oil. You see commercials for it anywhere. Someone's putting money behind it, pumping it out. It's all natural. And that's that. Look at it already though. It's clean, and hopefully it's moisturized, and that's the key. It's not so much that it was crazy dirty, it's that it just needs to be moisturized. This wood, you know, the rosewood sitting in a basement for so long will definitely, you know, you can see the grains just kind of tighten up. Alright, here's the neck done. I think it looks gorgeous. Those frets are shiny without any fret polish. I mean, you can get some sort of metal cleaner, chrome cleaner. They make fret polish. I don't need them. This is, it's like night and day from when it first. It looks like a brand new fretboard. So I'm super happy. The frets seem level. I didn't put a leveler to it. I just checked it out on my own, but seem really level. You can see all that binding crack. And, you know, we're pulled back, but the frets themselves came out awesome. Look at that crowning. There were huge divots in them when we first started, if you remember. That is all gone. There are nothing. So, re-crowned, there was enough fret wire material left, so I was able to do it. I am just super happy. Happy with this cleaner. We'll see how it feels when it's playable, but that's not going to be for a little while still. I'm waiting on the bridge set. But that's it.